Hey everyone, I'm Nancy. This is 80s, 90s fun. And today we're going to talk about the Daring Driver Mini Arcade by Tomy. All right, so first up, just a little bit about the Daring Driver game. It is an interactive one-player game, and it's from a series of mini arcade games by Tomy. The game was launched in 1982. A patent was filed for its holdable housing for the game on January 8th, 1982. The other mini arcade games in the series also came during that year. The games in the mini arcade series were Arcade Attack, Arcade Racing, Cosmic Clash, and Daring Driver. The mini arcade series was designed to have the appearance of a real arcade cabinet, except in miniature. It's actually created using LED lights and mirrors to reflect it, and the car that you're driving, that you're simulating driving, is actually a tiny plastic car that's lit up from the inside. And the LED lights and mirrors create the effect of a road that you're traveling down. The object of the game is to basically just stay within the lines and drive as fast as you can if you want, without crashing. And the way that you crash is by hitting the lines on either side of the car. And as you're driving, the lines will move around back and forth like you're driving down a winding road, and they'll catch you off guard when you're not paying attention. The mini arcade series is actually classified as a handheld game, which I find amusing because of its sheer size. You might think of it being a tabletop game, but no, it's not. It's handheld. Handheld? The game actually requires two different kinds of batteries to run. It requires 2 D batteries and 2 AA batteries to actually function. Not what I expected when I opened up the back of it after all these years. Here are the official instructions that it actually lists on the front of the video game cabinet. Instructions for Daring Driver Mini Arcade. Shift the skill level switch into desired position. Turn the power switch on. Shifting to 2 or 3 will increase your speed. Crashing will cause you to lose time. The score counter shows how far you've raced. Simple enough, right? So switching the skill level, you have the option of AMA, which I'm assuming is amateur, versus pro. So that switch is actually on the bottom here. That's where you switch it back and forth. I am definitely not a pro at this, I'll tell you that. I want to read you this quote from the 1983 Tomy catalog because I think you'll find it amusing. It's a little bit rhymey and fun. Here we go. With the turn of the wheel, this daredevil race gets real. Swerve that curve or race it straight. It's breakneck speed and superb timing that decide on first place. An arcade-style game where fun gets fast, with flashes, crashes, explosions, and score. Yeah! So I am also going to walk you through the game and just show you a little bit about the outside housing for the game and how it works. All right, let's have a look at the Daring Driver Mini Arcade. I'm going to turn it around for you so you can see all the different angles. That is the side graphics. If you flip it to the back, there's a vent, and there is where you insert all the batteries. Here's a little bit better view of the graphic. Looks like a little bit less sun faded. And then that is the front where you actually control the game. Now I can show you a little bit more of a close-up of the actual game controls. You can see on the front here, that's your gear shift. This is the on-off switch for the game. This is how you control the gear shift up and down. This is the wheel for controlling the car, and that is actually the scorekeeper. And this switch is where you switch it from AMA to Pro settings. Now mine turns on, but it does not function 100% properly. I am going to turn it on to show you just give you a general idea of how it looks when you're playing the game, my street lights don't work, my road lights. So kind of hard to stay in the lines of the road when you can't see them, right? But one of the interesting things I found online in my research is that there are people out there who repair these as a hobby. So I feel like, you know, even just watching part of a video about someone going through the process of repairing one, if this is already in a functioning state, I feel confident that those road lights can be functional again. But I just want to warn you, because when I show you the video of what it looks like when you're driving, you're going to be like, how do you know when you're staying in the lines? Yeah, it's because normally there's lines there.
Okay, so to turn the game on, you use the red switch. As you can see, there is the car lit up, and normally there would be lights there. Oh, I'm already in crash mode because I can't see the road lines. Oops. There's the gear shifting back and forth, you know, if I actually knew where I was going.
I think it's funny that in spite of it not being what you would see in an actual arcade, it's a really fun game. It really is. I always enjoyed playing it, even though I was absolutely terrible at it. I'm going to read you a little snippet from the Top 10 Retro Gaming Secrets by Davey Winder. Tomy released a whole batch of game consoles that were actually wind-up mechanisms powered with batteries to light a single red LED light, or sometimes just a plain old bulb. Blip was the most popular, being an electromechanical version of Pong, released in 1977. This was followed by a racing game, Demon Driver, in 1978, and a shooter, Missile Strike, in 1979. In the early 80s, Tomy used the same electromechanical innards, but within arcade-shaped housings under the Mini Arcade brand. So that is the origin of the technology they used to actually create the game. Something else interesting I discovered in my research is that being that these mini arcade games were released by Tomy in 1982, they came right during the boom of the video game market. But the game market actually had a crash in 1983. What happened is that in 1981, the home video game market tripled, and it actually became oversaturated because everyone wanted a piece of the action. So these kind of no-name, smaller brands were coming up and producing video games. With the oversaturation of the market, the consumers got more demanding and had higher expectations of the quality of their games. And so at some point, it just came to a point where not everyone could survive in that kind of a market. But I thought it was interesting that those mini arcade games came right in the middle of that boom in 1981 and 1982 before a big crash in the market occurred. Now, this information came from a book with multiple contributors. It's called Before the Crash, Early Video Game History. Now, apparently, the arcade market was really booming, and the number of arcades peaked in 1982 at 10,000 arcades. So that's, again, like I mentioned, it's interesting because that's right during that time when Tomy came out with the series of games. But over 2,000 of the arcades closed by 1983. And then also in 1983, the home video game sales dropped because the market became oversaturated and it was glutted with cheap products that disappointed the consumers. Here's a fun fact about Tomy as a toy company. In 2006, it actually merged with its rival toy company. So in Japan, it's called something different. It's called KK Takara Tomy. But in the English name now, they have it registered as Tomy Co. Limited. There's speculation over why the two companies decided to merge ultimately, but reportedly they had discussed a merger several times in the years before that. Apparently they were functioning in very close proximity to each other in Japan and respectfully competing against each other in the market. And there were times when one appeared stronger than the other, And so they finally made the decision that they could be stronger together by merging their most popular brands and having it all under one company. Now, Tomy, as the original company, was founded in 1924, whereas their rival company, Takara, that they merged with, was originally founded in 1955. When Tomy was originally founded, it was called Tomiyama, and it changed its name to Tomy in 1963. The company as it exists now has its headquarters in Katsushika, Tokyo. That's it for me today. I hope you guys had fun. As I did before, I'm going to put the reference links in the description so that you're welcome to check it all out for yourself and dig up some more info and have fun with it. If you're having fun following along my journey of the history of these toys, then please feel free to subscribe to my channel. It's 80s 90s Fun. And then I also have an Instagram, 80s 90s Fun. All right, take care everyone. I'll see you next time.